Hi, I'm Abby. Today, we're going to talk about person-centred reviews. So a person-centred review is a review that's carried out for a young person where their voice is very much at the centre. It's a review that encourages the voice of not just the child, but also of the parents. And it's focusing on strengths. So it's a strength-based model, not a deficit model. There's lots of creative ways that can be used to record person-centred planning. And the idea is that the young person's voice is really allowed to shine through. A person-centred review is something that is stated in the Code of Practice. The idea is that it's a process of constant listening, learning, and exploring ways to move forward. So in the Code of Practice, it does emphasise that the voice and aspirations of a young person should be central. So it's not what's going wrong, it's what could go better. And that includes the voice of the parent. In the Code of Practice, it also states that person-centred is about putting all the professionals that are involved with a young person all together to all contribute and collaborate. It also states about the say it once, which means we don't ask parents and children to keep saying the same thing again and again. There has been a shift in the methods used. So the traditional view was very much about diagnostics and a deficit model, as in what's wrong with the young person. Whereas now the person-centred model is about their strengths, their aspirations, and constantly listening to what those might be. In terms of running a person-centred meeting, it starts with the preparation. So it's really important that you prepare both the child and the parent. So preparing the young person, this is going to need to be done with whoever knows that young person best. So that person might want to take some paper and some pens and have some paper with headings on with things like what works best, what's going well, what's not working for me, and really help that young person to brainstorm on those pieces of paper. The more views you can gather from the young person before the meeting, the better that's going to run. In terms of preparing the parent, remember that this might be quite a scary meeting for the parent. So I suggest writing them a letter and perhaps giving a follow-up phone call because they might have a lot of questions to ask before the meeting. We often say that if a parent wants to, they can bring somebody with them as well, just to make them feel a little bit more secure. Because imagine how daunting it must be to be faced with however many professionals in a room and then just you. And I think that's how a lot of parents can feel. So they can bring a friend, or it might be a support worker. It depends on their situation. The next stage is preparing the room. So the space that you have the meeting in really makes a difference. Remember, we're trying to help the young person and the parent to feel really comfortable. So you might want to think about the lighting, colours, and also think about who is going to be in the room, who's running the meeting. So this should be somebody who is going to be really good and skilled at helping everybody to have a voice. I think it's important that the young person knows exactly what's going to happen in the meeting and invite them to the meeting. With this, you'll need to use your discretion, but on the whole, young people should be asked if they'd like to come along to share their views directly. Some might not want to, in fact a lot might not want to, but that's okay because that's why you've done the preparation before about gathering their views. So once you're actually in the person-centred meeting, this is a time to really look at what the child's aspirations are and think about together how we can get there. So again, you might want to use some visuals, and it doesn't have to be complicated graphics and it doesn't have to take a long time. Just big pieces of flip chart with headings pre-prepared, such as what is working, what's going well, what needs to change. The facilitator hopefully will draw out the voice and opinion of everybody in the room so that they all have an equal say. And if the young person is there, it's really important that you think about the language that's being used. Don't use too much jargon. Make it friendly to the parent and the young person. Overall, it should be a positive process where everybody's thinking about what the final outcomes are and the steps that need to be taken in order to get there. Practical things, smart targets. The types of person-centred questions you could ask are: what am I good at? What do people like and admire about me? What help do I need? How do I learn best? What help do others think I need? What's working? What's not working? And what needs to change? These are the types of questions that you can ask the young person before the meeting and to ask everybody during the meeting. A circle of support can be a useful tool for during the meeting. Basically, that has the child at the centre, and then it's looking about who are the closest people around the child supporting them, and who is in the next circle supporting them. You might want to do this before the meeting or pre-populate it, and then bring it into the meeting. And the idea is that you're having a look who is in the child's life, and whether or not we need to bring some people closer to the front line to support the young person. For example, if they've got loads of people on the periphery, but not many people in that first immediate circle around them. And this is a good way for everybody to see who is in the child's life, because there might be some people that haven't been able to make the meeting, but they're really important too. In terms of recording the meeting, again, this doesn't have to be overly complicated, but we do need to get who was around the table, what was said, what the final outcomes were. It might be in the form of a visual map, you might have bullet points, but it should be a way that everybody can understand. And it's really important that we record what's going to happen next. So it's important that you carry out a review in this way, no matter what the level of need that a young person might have. It could be for their one-page profile, it could be for their MyPlan, or it could be for their EHCP. Either way, it's about making sure that the review is person-centred. If you do need any more information about person-centred reviews, speak to your locality SENCO, your educational psychologist, or there's a lot of information on the Learn Sheffield website. Thanks for watching.